lorry driver. She had her music on, window down. I tried and tried and tried. So, questions and answers. Another question, how did I start driving? Obviously. That's a bit complicated question. I have to start very early because when I finished public school in Hungary, I had to choose to study a trade. That's how it goes in Hungary at that time, because I wasn't so clever at school. I had to go to trade school, so I wanted to be a hairdresser. But all the hairdressers' places were filled, obviously, like 50% of the girls wanted to be hairdressers at that time. So the places were filled, so I got back a letter that there is no more space and I have to pick something else, but because it was quite late to choose something, I had a few options left. One was agriculture mechanic, so I applied to that school and I got the place, but it was like nearly all boys, which it was weird at first, but from my very early age I always had friends, boyfriends, not boyfriends, but friends who were boys. So I really enjoyed my time at the agriculture school. I was driving tractors, harvest machinery at very teenage years. I loved it. Got a license for agriculture machinery and heavy trailer. It's called. Then. Finished school, but I never worked in my trade, so I had family, kids. I was home for nearly 20 years with the kids, and I divorced after 19 years of marriage, and my next boyfriend was a lorry driver. Let me drive his tanker in the parking lot, and he said, "Oh, that's good. You're so confident, such a confident girl. You drive the tanker without any experience, like, you know." I said, "Oh yeah, it feels really cool." And then later on, I went a few trips with him. We went to Poland and a few other trips, and we moved out together to England. He started driving here, and he drove car transporter. So again, he let me drive his car transporter. I know, don't tell anyone. And I loved it, and he said that I'm so confident and so good at driving without any experience. But don't tell anyone, it was years and years ago, so it's too late to do anything about it now. Anyway, that put something in my head. But I was a carer at that time, so I had a job. I liked my job. I didn't look for anything else. So I was a carer and driving my car around little villages to visit the elderly. I drove 100 miles a day just to visit them all around villages, and one day it was a road diversion. So I had to drive on a dirt road basically because of an accident, and I'm driving my little cabriolet, music on. I enjoyed myself, chair dancing, window down. Such a fine day. I felt really good. and then suddenly I saw a massive truck coming, and it was just a dirt road. So I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? So I pulled aside as much as I can, and the truck driver was trying to pass each other. And then I looked up because I had my roof down. I looked up and she looked down on me from her cab, and she was a girl, lorry driver, a really, really pretty girl. She had her music on, window down. I could tell that she's enjoying herself as well. And then it just struck me. I can do this. I want to do this. So same day I went home, applied for the provisional license, applied for all the forms to fill, researched how to start online. And shortly after that I've got my provisional license, I've got my all the forms, the medical and everything. So I started to do them one by one. But because I was a carer, I was on low income basically. I could save maximum £100 a month towards the cost of my license. So basically I was doing the theory tests one by one. Like 1 month I've done hazard perception, second month I was doing theory of the CPC. Well, I can't remember, it was 6 years ago. Anyway, I think I had 3 or 4 theories. I passed them all for first, despite my English is not my mother tongue. Well, I passed them for first, which was good. And started to research companies who's doing. I wasn't with my boyfriend anymore at that time, so I was basically on my own. A single mom with 3 kids and the dog and the cat. I was really, really, really determined to get my license. So yeah, because my ex-boyfriend always told me that's gonna be so hard for you to learn. It's not that easy as you think. It's not just a license to get your license and you know how to lorry drive. And I said, yeah. He was right. Getting the license is basically just the beginning of learning. It's like never-ending learning. So yeah, I started to look for companies who's doing driving lessons, and I found SID training in Stoke. I think they relocated to Newcastle now. So SID training, I think I messaged them first. Yeah, and they messaged me back, when do you want to come for an assessment? It's an hour drive on a lorry with a trainer. And I didn't respond to that email, so they rang me a few days later, and basically we agreed on a day and time. So I turned up at their place in Stoke, and they took me out for an assessment. The trainer said, "Oh, you must be that horsebox driving girl." I said, "What's horsebox is?" I didn't know. He thought that I want my license because of the horsebox, but no. He said at the end, "Yeah, you jumped on the curb a few times, but other than that, it should be alright." Started my driving lessons. Class 2. At that time, you had to do class 2 first, which is the rigid, the smaller one. So I started driving. I think I took 4 times or 5 times 4 hours. Anyway, it was 20 hours. I took last day came. I failed the test because I hit the cone behind me while reversing. I was too confident, too quick. I wasn't careful enough. Failed second test because of the cones. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Third time, they had the lorry broke down, which I used to practice. So they give me a much longer one with, I think it was 18 gears or so. I had no idea how to use that gearbox. I think it was a crutch gearbox or something. I'm not sure, but it was like you had to change it in a really, really weird way. And they offered me the test, however, they said if I'm gonna fail, I don't have to pay again because that would be unfair. Of course I failed. That was fourth time I passed. Yeah, fourth test I passed. However, I made mistakes. I don't think the test person who was testing me noticed my mistakes. I indicated to the wrong side. I wanted to pull that way and then I indicated that way, but it was just a confusion. It's not that I don't know how to indicate. Anyway, passed finally. So I started to look for jobs, but I was still working in the care home. Started to look for jobs, of course, agencies, and KPI agency in Stoke. They took me on. It was like a couple of months after I signed up with them when the first job arrived. They asked me, hey, you want to do double man driving for New Look shop deliveries? I said, yeah, go on. You know, let's start somehow. Something must be, something, because I was kind of desperate to start somehow, but nobody wanted me. First because I was new, second because I was a woman, probably. I don't know. So, first shift, going to New Look, it was so weird. Felt like an alien. I didn't know what I'm doing, where to go, anything. I didn't know anything about the job. I went out with a Romanian guy. He was nice. He was trying to explain everything. It was hard work. Every New Look shop, pull the crates in by hand and then take the empties back on the truck and move them around every time it was loading. You had to move them around because the empty ones were blocking the full crates. Nighttime, it's cold, it started to be winter, snow, rain, cold. Sometimes the New Look shops were on the high street where you couldn't drive in, so you had to drag the crates in on the street, or long corridors in shopping centers. But I learned a lot, and I collected some money for my class 1, because I was earning pretty good money, and I was reducing my hours in the care home to 0 hour, which means like I went to work when I wanted to, when I had time, because I didn't want to leave yet, because I didn't know how it's gonna go with the driving. So I'll halfway here, halfway there, which I always do when I start something new. Halfway here, halfway there. And in 2-3 months, I was doing nights for 2-3 months. I think I can confirm that I aged at least 10 years on that 3 months. It's because of the night shift. It was like 20-23 hours shifts, long shifts, and it was a very weird, hard to learn job. Winter time, just before Christmas, very busy. But I earned good money, so I put aside some money for class 1, which I've done in end of November. Passed for first, bang on. The testing guy said that we would need lorry drivers on the road like you. All of them should be same like you, because it was just because I drove like good. So I had my license again. Nobody wanted me to drive class 1, so New Look kept employ me as class 2 with the guys. I had different guys every night. I mean, it sounds bad, but for work. So yeah. Just after Christmas, they New Look asked me if I want to do class 1 job for them. I said, yay, somebody finally. And so I had my first run up to Carlisle and back. It was an easy trunking job from Newcastle to Carlisle. Second day I've done the same. Third day I didn't have the trailer up properly on the bay in Newcastle, and I lost the trailer just as I pulled out from the bay. It's funny now, but I was devastated. I was crying, incident report. Nothing's been damaged because I stopped before the trailer could go on its knees. It was still on the back. But it was a major mistake, because I didn't know how to use, oh my god, Christmas trees already. I didn't know how to use the suspension, nobody explained to me anything. Done the test, but that's nothing. You don't know anything. So I didn't know how to use the suspension and why, and what's the reason we use suspension. So New Look banned me from the site. They never called me again. I started, and of course it was January by that time already, so January is always quiet. So nobody wanted to employ me because I was a new driver and a woman. So I started to look for jobs online and started to apply online, lots of different jobs. New Look didn't want me anymore because of the incident I caused. NHS, they wanted me for an interview, and there was another company, I can't remember which one, but I chose Stobarts first, so I went to the initial assessment, and that's where I met Alex, the angry Scottish man. He was my assessor at Stobarts. He took me out on the road. He said my driving is fine, but he said every fool can drive forward, which is true. Let's see how you reverse. I said, can't really reverse, but I can try. I tried, and I couldn't reverse into the bay. I mean, into the parking space. And he said, alright, get out of the truck, come up to the office. So we went up to the office. He said he has to speak to his boss if they want to take me on and teach me how to reverse. So came back after a few minutes and he says, yeah, okay, we'll take you on, we're gonna give you a good training. Which happened. I had to go to Appleton, that's the headquarters of Stobarts, for I think it was 3 days of training, classroom training. all the rules, the taco rules, the trailers, everything. It was good. We had free meal, free coffees. We had the company car to go up and down to Warrington with 2 other guys. So I had the training, and after that my mentoring started in Stowe with Kevin and Gaz. They took me on. I took them out to work. Basically, I was driving, I was doing the job, and they were just sitting there and telling me all the stuff I need to know. And it was really, really helpful. I'm really humble forever for appreciated for Stobarts, because they teach me a lot about the job. And about the lorry, what to use and how to use and everything, because they're not telling you when you do the training, you learn how to drive and how to reverse back on a shape of S, what you have to do on the test, but that's it, nothing else. So I always felt very supported at Stobarts. Everybody always helping me. There was always somebody on the end of the phone line if I wanted something. And later on I applied for the Williams racing within Stobarts, and they took me on, but that's another story. It didn't turn out good. It was partially my fault, and partially it was some weird things happened. I don't know what. I don't want to assume anything. So yeah, after 4 years I reduced my hours because I wanted to do the Formula 1 runs. Obviously, being contracted to Stobarts, they wouldn't let me drive for another company. I wanted to actually leave Stobarts and work for agencies only, so I would have the free time to do the Formula 1 runs for Baz. But then Stobarts, actually it was Jim from Stobarts, he was the driving he offered me, he said that he can sort out some 0-hour contract for me, so I could be still an employee of Stobarts if I need a backup work. If anything goes wrong, then I still can go back, which I've done a few times in the past already. So I kept my Stobart contract, but I've gone self-employed as well. So I've done my Formula 1 runs last year for Baz, for Ferrari, McLaren, and started to work for other little companies. It was like all baby steps, all the way down, baby steps. And this year I was working for the Formula 1 management itself, which was good. And then I just stuck here as a self-employed person. I don't know if I would be a contracted employee again in a company, it would have been some kind of nice European runs or something, something exciting. I wouldn't like to stuck in, hauling the same stuff up and down on M6 for the rest of my life. That's not for me. But again, if I would lose my license or whatever would happen, I could not do lorry driving. I would go back to healthcare because I really love the healthcare setting, even in a hospital or elderly care. Or I wouldn't like to work with kids, but with adults and elderly, I loved it. That's my second option if something would go wrong. So I'm not that panicking. So this is how I started. I'm here, still driving. going to collect some wood chip from Ed's and take it to Thetford power station. I think I spoke a lot.